Hey guys, how you doing? Coach Mitch here. Let's look at the Secret Service Super Interview. There are criteria within the questions that they're looking for via your answers when you go for this serious interview. Because first of all, it's not a Zoom, it's in person. So you got 2 or 3 agents in front of you who are going to be asking you questions. Now these agents are not new to the job. They've been there for quite some time. So you're not going to be able to fool them or trick them or even schmooze your way through. One of the first things they're always going to look for in your answer is your judgment. How do you understand the situation as it is, and how do you identify the risk of the situation that they give you? Identifying risk will then reveal your judgment, how you figure things out and what you're going to do, and then what is the most appropriate action. Those are that's something they really look at, because your Secret Service and your judgment is based upon a split-second decision. As a side note again, this is not a civilian interview. Do not practice in a civilian way, or you're going to crash in your face. You're going to get embarrassed. You're going to feel like, oh my God, I'm in the wrong situation. And you are, because it's not a civilian type interview. Number two, of course, they're going to look at your decision making. There are questions they ask you that I ask you in my coaching program that I gauge your decision making. Now, at this point here, if you answer me wrong in a way that doesn't show good decision making skills, it's okay. We're going to rebuild that. I'm going to coach you in how to answer those questions correctly, because what they're looking for is strong, solid decision-making skills based upon rational and a common sense approach that also has what? Protection in mind at all times. This is very important. It's very critical. Now, in coaching, you're going to give me your answer. If it's not good, I'm going to tell you it's not good. You guys already know how I am, because when I interview you people, my awesome clients out there, when I interview you guys, it's all to reconstruct, to make perfect. I'm not there to criticize or to be critical of who you are. I'm going to criticize the way you give me the answer, but I'm not going to criticize you. My God, you're in there doing your best. You joined my coaching program. I'm going to give you the best. So that means you're going to get back good feedback from me. Number three is a big one. They're going to ask you questions on purpose that show about your accountability. Now, Secret Service is very aware of today's society. Today's society does not like to deal with personal responsibility or accountability. You see it from our politicians, people we think are leaders, who sidestep accountability and say, nah, that's not me. I can't be me, right? They don't want people who sidestep personal accountability, personal responsibility. They don't want that. They're not going to deal with that. They're going to ask you questions that will on purpose see if you are somebody who takes responsibility for their actions, because that's critical. The job of Secret Service is all about taking responsibility for your actions. It's not about making excuses or saying anything you hear today in the year 2026 about not taking on personal responsibility. It's not going to cut it. In the coaching program, we go through that. We take it into the approaches that, yes, you take on the responsibility, whether you fail or whether you succeed, but at the end of the day, it's your thing, it's your baby, it's all yours. You must then overcome that and be a person who takes on the integrity, which is what? The personal responsibility of the situation. Number four, emotional control. Huge. Secret Service sometimes get taunted, sometimes they get called names, sometimes their bosses are hard on them, that's all part of the job, right? So they're gonna judge you on your response to certain purposely pressured questions to you. Yeah, I do the same too. I purposely get questions for you that's gonna see how you deal with your emotional control. And I drill that pretty hard, because what they're looking for sometimes is you being uncomfortable or maybe a small outburst or something of that nature. They don't want that. This is why you rarely hear about Secret Service doing dumb things, because they're picking from the best of the best. And a side thing again, if you're practicing from a civilian interview type approach, you will fail. Guarantee fail, big F, big L, and get out. That's what they're going to do to you. So you have to understand that is a big deal. Number five is a huge deal for any law enforcement that I teach. I teach this in all 7 of my branches that I teach. Situational awareness. If you're the kind of person who goes into a restaurant, puts their back to the door, you're probably not already the person that they're going to want, because you're not situationally aware. You have to be situationally aware at all times. I'm going to ask you questions, just like they are, that will test if you understand situational awareness. So what does that mean? Do you look at behavioral cues of people? This can be done in a restaurant. I never have yet to sit in a restaurant with my back is to the door. Never. My back's always to the wall. I'm always looking out. I'm always aware. Am I overtly aware? Like, no, but I'm aware. This transitions into the Secret Service job as well. You analyze threats, of course. You analyze, of course, the environmental factors where you are. So where do you go? Who's with you? Things of that nature. You always got to be aware of what's going on. This will come out in the questions for sure about how you deal with situational awareness. Number 7, 6 is a big one, is your communication skills. Now, you can interpret a situation to be bad or good, that's fine, but it's how you do it. In the coaching program, we're going to deal with calmness, have our heads on tight, and think about how we talk to make sure we're clear about the situation. What does that mean? Description of people, location, north, south, east, west, how many people there are, what they look like, what they're carrying, how they speak, ethnicity, height, all that stuff is in there. So you have to understand that your communication skills are critical. How you call your backup, when do you call your backup, things of that nature are all part of the deal when it comes down to the communication skills. Now, the last one I want to talk about, guys, is the mission first mindset. Now, I'm not going to tell you, but you should know the mission of Secret Service. So they're not going to ask you what the mission is. Well, most times they don't. But if I were to ask you right now, what's the mission of the Secret Service, and you take more than 5 seconds to answer it, you're not ready yet. It doesn't matter if they ask you, do you know the model for Secret Service or the mission for Secret Service? You should know it because that's the seed that starts off your career to Secret Service. You got to know the mission. It doesn't make any sense to you not to know the mission, right? Like for my community here, my channel here, right? I always say, what? Continue the mission. That's the model here. I want my clients to do what? Get their badge. How do you do that? You have to continue the mission. That's how you get the badge. Same thing for the Secret Service. What's the model? What's their words? What's their focus? You must know that. That starts the seed to grow into the tree of success. Understand? So those are the things I want you guys to think about even before you get into the Secret Service. You don't need to take my coaching program to know this, but you need to understand that you better know the mission of Secret Service before you walk yourself into that interview panel and try to answer questions. It makes no sense at all. Why are you trying to be on my team if you don't know what my team is all about? Understand? That's how that works. You guys, if you want to pass that interview at a 90.4% chance success rate, join my coaching program down below. Get into my coaching program. Already I got Manuel who passed on the 5th. Yeah, he passes on the 5th, the Secret Service interview. He's the first guy for this month. I got 7 more coming right down the pike. By the end of the year, in the month, they'll have theirs pass as well, I'm sure. They're all good guys. They all know what the heck they're doing. And they're all focused on passing my coaching program so they can pass the actual interview. If you want the same help too, reach out to me. I'll show you how it's done. You guys take care. Remember the mission of Secret Service. My mission, though, is what? Continue your mission. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Coach Mitch.